So what do you think as an architect, could the societies or the cities also be built in a way that they are creative from the kind of a really ground level building, like newly built areas, or do we only have to look at those places that are abandoned or left without being utilized?
Of course, we don't have to do not only look on the abandoned areas. This has been maybe or is a kind of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I showed some areas of the harbor area in Hamburg, for example. I showed some industrial areas in Hamburg, and I showed areas in Dortmund and Nuremberg and Essen and so on, where there have been buildings which have been abandoned, and but with a high attractiveness. And I think it's part of the creativity, and maybe this is something to discuss by the architect and urbanist, to recover these areas. Maybe in the first step, kind of provisionally. This is also not very expensive, so it could come another development in a second step. So it's something like urban tactic, maybe also to stimulate this kind of area. But therefore, as I showed, there have been also many cities and regions also took back this concept to develop their cities, to give their cities another meaning. And I think also the question what Marco gave about what is creativity and who is creative? Are we all creative? And is it right to give these creative milieus, based maybe on the idea of Richard Florida of the talent, a separate an own space, and the others maybe not? This is a very different question also in a democratic way.
That's right.
In a democratic way. I really confirm with Marco in the topic that I think everybody has got some talent, but
That's
we
right.
don't have the same creativities, and we don't have the same creativity in everything. But I think the sum of everybody of talents is equal. Maybe some has got more social talents. I'm not sure if you have to mix talent always with creativity, but this is maybe another question. And other have got maybe more mathematics talents or creativity, and other maybe more creativity in subjects like art and architecture and design and so on. But I showed that for this creativity milieus, there were given spaces in the cities, in my presentation mainly in Germany, to impulse urban development, which in a second step, for example, in Munich, I think it was a very good example, was also used as a catalyst for the development of other uses. So I was talking about a mixed use of with departments, with housings, with schools, a new university, and other green and open spaces. So it could be also used as a catalyst.
That's right.
An active catalyst. And I think this is a very important meaning for the city.
That's right. And I think, as you said, and it's a topic of this meeting here today, that everybody is creative, meaning that our creativities are not the same. Everybody can be creative in their own ways, and the most important thing is to see how we can complement our creative abilities and to get our regions, for your case, for example, in our cities, move forward with a competitive advantages, or become competitive all in all, based on who are living in those spaces, and also how do we design the spaces that we are living in. Dr. Marco, do you have any additional question?
No, I agree. I totally agree with Christoph. I just want to share that if the people just go to Google and they type can we measure creativity, design, and they add or names, they will find a presentation where many of the ideas that we have presented here can be found. And there are a lot, for example, talking about urban studies, there are a lot of examples of cities who can be a good case study, and that they open you the eyes, your eyes, they open your eyes because they take this traditional way of understanding creativity, as I said, as something that happens in your brain as a magic thing, but then it moves to a macro level, no? Like how important it is to be creative in a region to be competitive. And Europe did it and has been doing it. That's why, for example, in 2009, Europe declared the year of creativity. I don't know if they have still do it later on, but you can find a publication about this experience of declaring the year of creativity in Europe for 2009 and all the things that they did for fostering social inclusion, developing cities, developing economies, how to strengthen companies in Europe. So as you can see, the concept of creativity is, depending on the lens that you are using to understand it, it can contribute to foster innovation. And at the end, that's the kind, we want creativity that fosters innovation, that creates value. Because otherwise you can be creative, but it doesn't generate any value.
That's right, and that's very important.
Yeah, and it solves your problem immediately, but I mean, we should try to scale your creativity so that it generates value. Like, for example, having better places to live, having better companies, being more competitive, knowing how to work with others, knowing how to take risk, knowing how to manage. Well, I mean, that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
That's right. Thanks a lot.